What's going on, everyone? It's Token. Welcome to week 2 of the IBL. As today we will be going up against a League 4 walkthroughs and his Washington Lake Spirits. Yes, I got that correct. So thank you guys for tuning in. As always, leave a thumbs up if you do enjoy the video, as well as subscribe to the channel for more League format action, as well as VGC action. Been taking a break. That'll be explained later, but let's focus on this League format battle that we have right now. So we did lose week 1 against what was his name, Neuver Nation and the Las Vegas Galators. We really were. I felt like we was that the game. Sorry, I'm in 2 leagues now, and sometimes it's hard to deal with everything. But that was the game that I feel that we had a little bit of trouble dealing with my opponent's various different forms of offense. And Gore guys, even though I thought I had a good plan for it, still gave me lots of trouble because I overlooked Frisk and I overlooked Trick Room. So my opponent just played very well in that game, and I thought we were just slightly out prepped. This time though, I feel better about our matchup, and I feel better about our prep going towards that matchup. And I also underestimated Neuver's team. But yes, feel better about our prep and our matchup in this one. So I'm excited to get started. We'll quickly go over the team, and then we'll just hop right into the battle. So my opponent's full team consists of Zapdos, Zelf, Doublade, Torkoal, Drapion, Floatzel, Goodra as their Z captain, Whimsicott, Keldeo, Sandslash, and Cryogonus. So a pretty powerful team. That's like Zapdos, Zelf, Doublade, Torkoal, Drapion, Goodra, and Keldeo all give me they're very scary Pokemon to go up against. My opponent definitely drafted a pretty solid team, and but I felt like we brought a pretty good plan to go up against that team. As you can see, these are the ones that we are going to bring: Heatran, Sylveon, Garchomp, Miltank, Heliolisk, and Slowbro. And that team below is the team I think my opponent will bring. Let's just get rock into our team. So we are bringing a. Let me get on my team builder so I can make sure I tell you guys the right sets. Let's make sure of that. This should already be up. My apologies. Alright guys, we are bringing a physically defensive Heatran that's also really offensive, so we can switch into that Doublade at least 3 times, or well, at least 2 times comfortably, considering that it does get access to Sacred Sword. So I want to be able to switch into that pretty comfortably because I feel like Heatran's our best option for pressuring Doublade. And in a practice battle, I didn't have Heatran, I instead had Virizion in this spot, and Doublade gave me a lot of trouble with toxicking up my entire team. So that is what we want to avoid in this one by bringing Heatran instead of Virizion. And Heatran just brings a lot to the table. It's going to hit extremely hard. It has the moveset of Lava Plume, Toxic, Solar Beam, and Earth Power. And since you do see Solar Beam, do expect us to have that Gracium Z, but just the way the layout is, it's just going to cover the Gracium Z. But yes, we do have the move, we do have the item of Gracium Z, so that we can hit a Keldeo switching extremely hard. And considering my opponent does also have a Torkoal that gets Drought, you might not even have to go for the Z move, and Keldeo's weakened, we can just go straight up for the Solar Beam. But Gracium Z is gonna just get us that Oko on a somewhat special defensive Keldeo, so might just end up still going for that. But yeah, that's pretty much Heatran. Get the pressure off on Doublade that we definitely need. Force it to switch out, hit things very hard. Toxic the Zapdos if I can, and definitely hit Keldeo with that Gracium Z if possible. Then our next member of the team is going to be Sylveon. Sylveon's rocking out with a Choice Scarf and is going to, it has a Choice Scarf so that it can outspeed Keldeo and Oko with a Hyper Voice. That also allows it to hit stuff like Zapdos before it attacks and other things slower than Keldeo. With a hard-hitting Hyper Voice before they're able to attack. So I really like that. 220 EVs in speed to allow us to outspeed those Pokemon. 252 in special attack, and then just some defensive EVs thrown around. Well, 20 in HP and 4 in special defense and 12 in defense, so we can definitely take some hits as well. Rocking out with a moveset of Hyper Voice, Shadow Ball, Wish, and Baton Pass. Probably won't go for Shadow Ball much, but still there just for the Doublade. If it's weakened, I just know I want to hit that, can do that. Wish, so we can still have some type of recovery on Pokemon for our Pokemon that don't have it. I can just switch out after a Wish, go into something, get that health back up, and Baton Pass, just so that if I know something's coming in that kind of walls this, don't know what would on my opponent's team, but maybe the Zapdos, I can just Baton Pass out of there and then get into something that threatens that a little bit more. So that's what I'm thinking with Sylveon. And let's click off that. But yeah, that's pretty much what I'm thinking with Sylveon. Then we get into Rampage the Garchomp, and Garchomp this week is going to be a slow Garchomp, but mainly just slow because I wanted it to be able to Oko a Goodra with no defense EVs, because a special a Z move Goodra does put a little bit of pressure on my team. I don't know, it could go for Sludge Bomb, it could go for the Dragon type move. It can maybe be packing like Focus Blast or something for my Heatran, thinking that I might try to bring in Heatran on it. So I don't know what exactly Goodra might want to go for. So it's pretty scary It's a pretty scary Pokemon in general, but definitely more scary with a Z move equipped to it. So I wanted to make sure to have something that could Oko Gudra, which is hard to have, but you just got to get it on that physical side. And we're rocking out with a fully adamant Garchomp so that we can hit my opponent very hard with a Dragon Claw and knock out that Gudra. It also allows us to hit the Doublade really hard with Earthquake. And I'm trying to think of some of their other members. Let me just pull that up real quickly. Go back there. It allows us to hit the Torkoal extremely hard, allows us to hit the Drapion extremely hard, but we will underspeed the Drapion, so that's something we got to be wary of because we are rocking out with a Yachi Berry so that we can take an HP Ice from Zapdos and Toxicate if we need to, and so that we can maybe live a Icy Wind from Keldeo, and we can hit it hard with an Earthquake. So um, that's what I'm pretty much thinking with Garchomp. Just Earthquake, Dragon Claw, Toxic, and Stone Edge, good coverage, and then Toxic for the Zapdos because a physically defensive Zapdos with also some special defense investment can be hard for our team to deal with. So I definitely want to make sure to have Toxic so that we can maybe Toxic that Zapdos if necessary. Then we get into our next member of the team, which is going to be Miltank and Whitney the Miltank. And Whitney is another Pokemon that I changed after my mock battle, like the Heatran, but it was initially on the team, but I just changed Body Slam to Hill Bell just because of getting Toxic so much by Doublade. So I knew I wanted to avoid that and have Hill Bell on the team, especially if Keldeo burns stuff with Scald as well. It's just good to have Hill Bell in this game, I feel. And Body Slam wasn't doing much for me considering that Seismic Toss is around the same damage to most of everything, and I already had the Scrappy, so that Seismic Toss can still hit Doublade so that we're not walled by Doublade. So yeah, we are rocking out with Hill Bell, Stealth Rocks, Seismic Toss, and Milk Drink. So we have reliable recovery, and Miltank is just pretty much our physical wall in this game with 236 EVs, with a not bold but impish nature, and 252 EVs and HP. Oh god, I couldn't even think. Next, we get into Heliolisk, who is going to be a huge hard hitter for us in this game, as my opponent's only ground type is Sand Slash, so that's his only way of stopping us from Volt Switching all over their team. And if Sand Slash is blocked, I don't say doing too much, and I can just surf it into Oblivion. So, and I don't really expect my opponent to think I'm going to bring Choice Specs, but considering that I'm most afraid out of all the fast Pokemon like Whimsicott and Zelf, the only one I'm really afraid of is that Keldeo. So Heliolisk outspeeds the Keldeo, so I just felt like let's just slap on a Choice Specs and hit as hard as we possibly can, considering my opponent has a very weak ground type in my personal opinion. So we're rocking out with a moveset of Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, Dark Pulse, and Surf. We do have Dry Skin, so that if Keldeo ends up being choiced or something, and I just feel if I know the Water type move is coming, I can go into to Heliolisk and absorb that, and then threaten it out with our stab electric attacks. But I do have to be wary of a Sacred Sword, so I'm not sure how comfortable I will feel in doing that, considering that we also have two solid switch-ins into Heliolisk and Slowbro and Sylveon. Sylveon not as much since it's not that special defensive, but still it really doesn't take much damage from Keldeo considering its monster special defense stat as well as resisting Sacred Sword. So yeah, it's pretty much Keldeo. It's going I had to run full speed EVs with a Timid Nature on it, because that was the only way I was going to be able to outspeed. Let's make sure it's Timid and not Jolly. Yeah, Timid. I needed to make sure I could outspeed the Keldeo, and Heliolisk is only 1 EV faster than Keldeo, so I had to go full investment to outspeed it. So, and then 252 in special attack and then 4 in special defense. Very standard Heliolisk, considering that I want to make sure I outsped Keldeo. And last but not least, we get into Slowbro. This is another special defensive wall for us, other than Sylveon, but Sylveon's more being offensive this week, not special defensive. But yes, Slowbro is meant to switch it into the Keldeo as much as possible. Also, maybe take some Thunderbolts and some hits from Gudra. Just depends. It's the only thing I'm really comfortable with switching in on Gudra's Z move. So that might be a thing. I just hope that I can regenerate out and then get back at a decent amount of health, and then we could be fine with dealing with the Gudra. But yeah, Regenerator as its ability, Leftovers as its item, and then we got Scald, Side Shock, Calm Minds, and Slack Off. Scald, obviously, just wanted the dual stabs, one with Calm Mind, because if we could get rid of the Zapdos, or if Zapdos isn't that offensive, then we can sweep through my opponent's team, because considering Slowbro's monster defense stat, I don't even have to invest much into it for it to be able to take a Shadow Sneak from Doublade. It can set up Swords Dance, but it still takes that even decently well after 1 Swords Dance. My opponent would kind of need 2 if I'm already decently Calm Mind up with Slowbro. I'll take him out before he can take me out. So Slowbro is going to be a huge threat. I'm not really sure. My opponent might try to bring something different to deal with that. And we are rocking out with 252 EVs in special defense. 2, 28 in HP and 28 in defense, so that we just got some EVs in defense. But yes, that is pretty much the team. Slowbro, Hilo-Whisk, Whitney, or Miltank, Garchomp, Sylveon, and Heatran. The team below, I'm thinking my opponent will bring is Keldeo, Doublade, Zapdos, Goodra, Torkoal, and Azelf. Those last two are a huge. Those two can easily switch up. Cryogonal could easily be brought, and there's something else I was thinking of that could easily be brought. And what was that Pokemon? Oh, Whimsicott could also easily be brought to put a lot of pressure on Slowbro and to put pressure on Garchomp. And it might want to T-Wave things. I'm not really sure. So, Whimsicott is something else would be brought. I really don't see anything else. Oh, Drapion can also be brought as well. So, things to consider. I'll see you guys at the game. I'll switch things off if I got any of the Pokemon wrong. But let's see if the your Salazzin Salazzles, and me, the coach, can pick up a win here in week 2. So, we'll see what we can do. See you guys at the game. Alright guys, so we're here at the battle, and it looks like Elite is bringing a team of Zapdos, Doublade, Drapion, Goodra, Azelf, and Floatzel. Alright, he really surprised me with the Floatzel. Didn't expect that at all. So we got to do some shifting here. We got the Azelf, the Doublade, and the Zapdos right, but really surprised no Keldeo. That really threw me off. No freaking Keldeo. I feel like that makes this game easier on us, personally. I do now wish that I ran enough EVs to outspeed Drapion though. Possibly. It's not that, no, because now ice type moves aren't that big of a deal. Floatzel's a little scary, but I'm not sure. Let's browse real quickly. Yeah, let's add Drapion onto here. There's Drapion. Let's get that added. And I will select my team before I add in Floatzel, and yeah, before I add in Floatzel. So let's what would he lead with? I can see a Zapdos lead, just a Volt Switch. I just feel like I lead with Heliolisk. There's no reason not to. He didn't even bring Sandslash, so I lead with Heliolisk. But all right, now let's get Torkoal off the screen, and let's get added. Let's get Floatzel added. Perfect. But all right, good luck, have fun to Elite Four walkthroughs. He had a very crazy week 1 where his Cryogona got a very important ancient power every stat raise that pretty much ended up winning him the game and allowing Cryogona to really just clean up. That was freaking crazy, honestly. A very awesome battle. But let's see if we can bounce back ourselves. So we really need this. So he does lead with the Zelf, which is interesting. We are specs. So let's see if Heliolisk can take out a Zelf, considering that it's specs with Dark Pulse, obviously. It says Thunderbolt should even kill. No, but that's on a no. Let's say it's 252. Let's say it's 252 EVs in HP. Then Dark Pulse has a 93% chance to kill. So I'm gonna take those odds. I'm gonna go for Dark Pulse. Oh, he's Scarfed. Oh no, I forgot he's faster. He's just faster than us. He sets up the Stealth Rock's not a problem. I don't see Stealth Rocks being a huge deal for us in this game. Oh, and he barely lives. He barely lives. Kind of stings. What can a Zelf do to Sylveon though? Can't explode. Explosion kind of scares me, honestly. Crap, Explosion is scary. He might just switch out. He might just go for a Psychic type move. Would he go for an Explosion? This just suicide. This could easily be suicide lead itself. And if it is, I want to go into Heatran. Check that out. Yeah, Explosion doesn't do much to Heatran. I wish it did even less, but it doesn't do much. What about Miltank? Boost. He probably knows respects now, so that's something to keep in mind. Um, Explosion does too much, so I'm gonna go. Oh, but then we take 25% for the rocks as well. And if this is offensive with side shock, no, well, no, I can't explode and go for side shock. Yeah, I'm gonna go into Miltank. Because we're running way lower on time than I thought. I'm gonna go into Miltank. I don't even want to stay in for like a side shock or anything, but I definitely can't allow an explosion onto anything other than like Miltank, honestly. And it is just a U-turn. So we are gonna kill this thing with Rocky Helmet, so that's pretty cool. That's actually pretty cool. So Zelf dies to Miltank's Rocky Helmet. I'll just watch the replay and I'll remember kills. I don't need to write that down personally. But all right, that's one Pokemon down. I don't have like an X out. That's one thing I forgot. Sorry guys, I was rushing a little with getting everything set up for the layout, and I just forgot to have like an X or something for all the Pokemon. So sorry about that. We will have that next week. Just kind of try to remember what went down and what didn't go down. But all right, we'll see what my opponent decides to go into here. They do have the options of going into the Drapion. Wouldn't be the worst thing to go into. What else? He can just Volt Switch off of this thing with Zapdos. What is that? Okay, he goes into the Duke Blade. Will he try to set up this early? Would he try? He can just Sacred Sword us. And how much is that going to do to us? It's gonna do a little over 40% probably. A little over 40%. Even though that's a high roll, I feel like he might be fully adamant considering he wanted to bring this in. I feel like we'll definitely have chances to. Let me look at his team again. What can we milk drink up on? Probably the Floatzel. Yeah, probably the Floatzel. So I kind of really want rocks here for the Zapdos. Yeah, so I'm gonna set up my. Oh, I accidentally clicked Seismic Toss. Well, that was a blunder. I meant to set up my rocks, but I guess this isn't that much worse. Do get some good damage off on this thing, and it does just go for Sacred Sword. Oh, and it is going to be Life Orbs. Oh no, that was just my Rocky Helmet. So I'm actually just going to... Do I just Milk Drink up now? Trying to think if this thing gets set up. If this thing does get set up with a +2, how big of a deal is that actually for us? Just gonna see how it looks against Slowbro at +2. Yeah, it's too much damage, but I actually just think if I just Milk Drink up with this, and he keeps taking Rocky Helmet damage, we should be fine. We should honestly be fine. Because he can't go for the Sacred Sword on Heliolisk, obviously, because it's a normal type. So I could just outspeed this thing if it does want to go for the Sacred Sword. If it somehow takes out Miltank and gets that plus something, then Heliolisk just gets rid of it. So that's perfectly fine. But I'm not sure he'll even stay in, considering that I can just heal back up. And Sacred Sword will start to do more damage, but he's really going to wear this thing down. And this is one of his best switch-ins for the Sylveon. So I will be just Milk Drinking up as we see the Drapion coming now. So that would have been a nice turn to go for Stealth Rocks, but I feel like keeping this at a good amount of health for the Dew Blade actually is good. So he's going to want to knock off here, which makes me want to go into Heatran, considering I have the Z move that will reveal it, but I don't think I want anything else to lose its item yet. So let's just calc how much damage that's going to do to Heatran. I am physically defensive, so it shouldn't be too bad. Really shouldn't be too bad. Let's go Drapion. It does get Aqua Tail, which is a little scary, but I don't really see him going for that. So I'm going to switch right into Heatran. He will take 25% from the rocks, though. So that's something to keep in mind. The rocks are huge now in Heatran's side, honestly. Oh, not 25% considering I was... Oh, okay, and he just tried to go for Toxic, so that's perfect. So I do have the Earth Power for this thing, and it will Oko it. He does have the Zapdos, though. But I feel like I just go for Toxic here, because he doesn't go into Doublade. And if I get a Toxic off on the Goodra or the Zapdos, that's good. And those are like his only switch-ins. And he has to want to switch out for a possible Earth Power. He has to want to switch out. If he stays in and I go for Toxic, though, that is really going to suck. That is one thing I do want to avoid. But I do feel like he switches out, so I'm going to go for the Toxic. He does switch out, so hopefully this is Zapdos or Goodra. And it is going to be the Goodra, so we will get a Toxic off on Goodra. That's really, really good for us with wearing this thing down. That's really good for us. Considering that we don't have our rocks up yet. Sorry, got some eye boogers in my eyes. Okay, we're good now. So, I kind of feel like I have to go into Slowbro. How much does Sylveon do to this thing? Navi, he's probably got his Z move, but I guess I'll still just go with Sopus. We do almost 50. Excuse me, almost 50%. He does not go for a Dragon type move here, so I'm actually gonna make a very... Should I make that move this soon? That might be bad. That might be very bad. Because what does losing Garchomp here do for me? It's not a huge deal, but Garchomp's huge for dealing with Drapion, kinda. Yeah, just in case he goes for like some fighting type Z move or something weird, I'd rather just go into Slowbro. So I was gonna go into Slowbro. I don't want to be too ballsy yet, since I don't know what his exact Earthquake. I could have easily went into Garchomp then. That was an easy switch into Garchomp. But I didn't know his exact game plan with this Goodra yet, so I didn't wanna put all my eggs in one basket just yet. So he can try to go into Doublade on this, but I don't really see what that does for him, so I kind of want to Calm Mind up, because I feel like we can cause a lot of havoc for my opponent if we start to Calm Mind up already. But Drapion is here. It honestly makes a lot of sense that he brought the Drapion for Slowbro. He honestly didn't deal with it the best otherwise, but still he did have Zapdos. And he does have a Goodra that should get an electric type Z move. So I'm actually going to double into Garchomp now this turn. I'm going to double into Garchomp. Predicting either the Drapion, Zapdos, or predicting this to go for some move that's not a Dragon type move. And it is Thunderbolt, so there we go. There we go. There we go. Now I have to go for a Dragon Claw. Absolutely have to. It'd be nice to go for Stone Edge for a possible Zapdos switch in, which seems very likely. But I can't chance this thing staying in and going for Dragon Rush or whatever physical Dragon type move it has, or if it's mixed, can't stay in and then go for the Draconium Z or just Draco Meter in general. So I'm gonna have to go for Dragon Claw here. Have to. How much would it do to a physical Zapdos? like 35%. Opponent's definitely taking a while to think about this play. They don't really have the best switch in the Garchomp, so I felt good about trying to get it in here. And he is going to stay in, so unless he has some defense investment, this should take him out. And it does take him out, so perfect. Gooey does lower our speed, but not really worried about that. We're running slow Garchomp either way, so Garchomp takes out Goodra. Rocky Helmet on Miltank takes out a Zelf. So things are going good so far. Things are going good. Able to predict the Goodra accordingly. Able to deal with the Doublade well, considering that my opponent thought it was a check probably to our Miltank, but we're scrappy and we're running a Rocky Helmet. So that was dealt with accordingly. Avoided getting toxic on our Slowbro by the... Was it our Slowbro? What was that? No, avoid getting toxic on our Miltank. On Slowbro, he was just clicked Pursue or knockoff. But avoid getting toxic on our Miltank by going into Heatran on the toxic from the Drapion. So things are going pretty good so far. We'll see what exactly my opponent decides to bring in on this. I would envision probably the Float Zell, and it has like Ice type move, or the Zapdos. And it is going to be the Zapdos. So do I predict my opponent to go for... Nah, there's no reason for me to stay in here, just because even if I do get a Stone Edge off, then he just heals. Oh no, then he has to Roost, and I can maybe Earthquake on his Roost. Do I try to make that play? We do have the Yachi Berry for a reason. Yeah, I feel like my opponent's getting behind and he might need to make a play. He does go for the Hidden Power Ice, so good play on my opponent's end. Good play on my opponent's end. We do got the Yachi Berry for that though, so we will eat that up. I will go for a Stone Edge. Hopefully we hit it. Hopefully we don't miss. And we missed the Stone Edge. Ooh, that stings. That makes that a terrible play. It literally just makes it a terrible play. He's probably gonna predict us to switch out definitely now and go for a Volt Switch. That's what I would do. Or do I switch into a Volt Switch? I think Sylveon takes it well. Oh, that missed Stone Edge. That really sucked. Sylveon. Let's put in Volt Switch. Yeah, it doesn't take too much damage at all. I feel like that's my only switch in for it. So yeah, I'm gonna switch into Sylveon. Kind of really need to get my rocks up for this Zapdos. Really need to get my rocks up. And definitely need to get this thing poisoned. And he does just go for the Hidden Power again, not willing to risk anything. What does he go to on this? The Drapion? The Drapion or the Doublade? Yeah, I'm gonna Wish up. I'm gonna go for Wish. That might have revealed that I'm Choice Scarf there, but that's fine in my opinion. That is fine. Sylveon's really worn down though. Extremely worn down. So it's not going to be a reliable switching into Volt Switch anymore. So the Zapdos is definitely a pain, and that was part of the reason why I wanted to bring Virizion in the first place, because of its monster special defense stat. Allows it to even switch on Zapdos' Heat Wave unless it's very offensive, but considering my team, my opponent's Zapdos has to be defensive. So that was part of the reason why I wanted to bring Virizion, but I couldn't really see it working out too well. With the Doublade, but we're actually dealing with Doublade much better than I dealt with it in my little mock battle. So that's unfortunate, because if I guess Heatran still is good to have because it pressured out the Drapion so far. It's done good so far. So when my opponent brings him on this, he probably is realizing that I'm Scarf, that there's no way I should outspend his Zapdos, and that I'm definitely Scarf. That's probably what he's realizing right now. Propel. Alright, he's going into the... He went into the Floatzel. How much damage does this thing do to me? Might just stay in if I can let it hit. There's the special attacking one that definitely kills a Hydro Pump. And then there's a physical one as well. It does way too much damage with Waterfall, so we definitely have to switch out. I'm not feeling good about the way I've used Sylveon, but I didn't really know what to switch in on that Zapdos. Let's just see how much this does to Miltank. Doesn't do crap to Miltank, but the special attacking one will, so I kind of have to go into Slowbro. That's exactly what I'm going to do. My opponent might double out into Drapion. That'd be a really good play by them. How much is Drapion going to do to Slowbro? Ice Punch, that's fine. Alright, so he realized I was trying to get a wish on the Garchomp. Smart play. Smart play. How much does this Drapion do to Slowbro? Knockoff's going to do way too much damage. It can do up to 70%. But if we're at +2, I mean +1, we do a lot of damage to it as well. I think I fire off a Scald either way since he just revealed that he's physical. And I just hope we get a burn, or do I just go back into Garchomp? That might be the play. I just don't want to stack Garchomp on this thing now. And then I just want to go for a Stone Edge with Garchomp, forcing my opponent to Roost, and then I can just go for an Earthquake after that. And if he doesn't Roost, then Heliolisk can likely take out the Zapdos from there, hopefully. If that doesn't work out, that'd be a terrible play. I don't want to lose Garchomp and then have trouble with the Drapion now. But even if it knocks off our Rocky Helmet and doesn't get amount of damage, I want to see how Drapion beats Miltank. So yeah, I'm going to double into Garchomp, as he does switch out, probably into Drapion. Doomsday, that sounds like Drapion, and it is the Drapion. So that is fine. We don't even have an item anymore, so knockoff shouldn't do much to us. And Drapion doesn't get an Ice Technique, does it? Pretty sure it doesn't. My laptop wants to load. Please load. It is taking its sweet time. I just want to make sure this thing doesn't get an Ice Technique. Just want to be certain. Oh, it does get Ice Fang. Oh, it does get Ice Fang. Would he think that we're not faster than him, though? He has to think that we're faster than him. He has to. But he might predict that I'm going to go for Stone Edge and not Earthquake. He might predict that. I'm still going to go for Stone Edge. And it does stay in and just Toxic me. Alright, good play. I could have knocked this thing out, but I had a feeling he would. And oh my god, and we missed another Stone Edge. Oh lord. What does he go for now though? Or does he just switch out? Because I don't even think he has Ice Fang. Obviously he can, and obviously he knows he outspeeds now, but is this Garchomp even worth salvaging at this point? It is one of our best ways of getting damage off on Zapdos. Especially on a predicted switch in, no other way, but on a predicted switch in. And it has toxic, and nothing else on our team has toxic. That's my main thing I'm afraid of. If I would have just went for EQ though there, we would have got rid of this Drapion, and that would have been beautiful because then that means that Slowbro can possibly just win the game, likely just wins the game. And then I don't think that Zapdos is that offensive. I didn't count that Yachi Berry, but I don't think it's that offensive. He might predict me to go for EQ now, and I don't want to get. Do I just go for another Stone Edge even after missing 2? He has to think I'm not going to go for another Stone Edge after missing 2. He has to believe that I'm not going to do that. So I think I just go for another Stone Edge. Is it worth it? How much does Drapion do to us again? I'm gonna go for Stone Edge. I think he stayed in. Oh, he just stayed in a knockoff. Oh, so I could have knocked this thing out again. Oh, crap. Well, that really sucks. I didn't play the Drapion well at all. Helios just takes this thing out though. And he doesn't have a switch in for Helios. He definitely does not. This is Volt Switch. Yeah, Volt Switch even just takes this thing out. So yeah, I think that's what we do. So let's see if it's special defensive. It's very bad special defensive. Yeah, we just go for Volt Switch off of this thing. No hazard removal does suck, but I didn't like Drapion's matchup. I didn't like Drapion. I didn't like Armando's matchup. I didn't like it, and that's our only form of hazard removal other than Crobat, and I also didn't feel like Crobat offered us much in this game. Other than just losing to the Zapdos. I'm just going to go for Volt Switch and hope he doesn't have some crazy amount of special defense investment. He has 252, but doesn't have a special defense nature that rises to special defense. This should still take him out of Volt Switch, but if he does, then we can be in some trouble. How does Heatran deal with? That was just bad. I used Garchomp really bad there. That was so bad. Oh, Heatran, I just completely forgot that Heatran also has Toxic on it. That's an oversight on my end, but we do still have Toxic on Heatran for the Zapdos, so hopefully we can get that Toxic and start to wear it down. I feel like that's going to be our best way of dealing with it since we didn't deal with this Drapion well, but if we can knock this Drapion out with this Volt Switch, we should be in a good position with Slowbro. And it slightly doesn't knock it out, so my opponent's likely going to go for knockoff after this. So I'm pretty sure I just go into Milk Tank now. Yeah, I just go into Milk Tank and I allow him to knock off our item. So that didn't take him out, which is unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. I should have just went for Thunderbolt. That would have definitely taken him out, but it's fine. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Yeah, and it is just a knockoff. It's going to do a lot of damage. Or a good amount of damage. But we do take out the Drapion also with the Rocky Helmet. So that's good. His only physical attacker left is the Floatzel, which I don't really see being a switch into this. So I think the Rocky Helmet did its job before it got knocked off. Because we do outspeed the Doublade, and we should be able to just Seismic Toss it down. Doublade is a better switch in now, though, now that we don't have the Rocky Helmet. If it's not taken out by a Seismic Toss at the health it's at. And is that the Doublade? No, it's the Zapdos. What does Zapdos do to this, though? How much does this take from Zapdos? Discharge does a decent amount. He's probably running Toxic or something. That's what I would think. But I have Heal Bell as well. So I'm actually just going to Milk Drink up. See what this thing wants to do to me. I'm going to Milk Drink up, and now I'm going to set up Rocks the turn after that. And then I'm just going to start Seismic Tossing. So he goes for the Thunderbolt. We'll see how much this does. Oh, wow. He's a very offensive Zapdos. Oh yeah, he's Life Orbed. How did I forget? Oh, this is why you write stuff down. This is why you write stuff down. He has a Life Orb Zapdos. So this is offensive Zapdos. Offensive Zapdos. So he could be fully modest with a Life Orb. It looks like that. It honestly looks like that's what he is. So Sylveon might just win the game now. How much does Sylveon do to a non actually defensive Zapdos though? Looks like it might just barely not do enough. So let's go back to Heliolisk. Heliolisk should take this thing out. Unless he still has a decent amount of special defense investment. I don't see any other play for us other than going into Heliolisk. Yeah, considering that Sylveon shouldn't be able to take this out. Heliolisk might just win the game though. It just might if it can take this out. So that might be GG. If Heliolisk takes this out and the Floatzel isn't like Banded Aqua Jet, it could be Banded Aqua Jet. How much does that do to us? Oh, it can't even go for Aqua Jet. I forgot about Dry Skin. Can't even go for Aqua Jet, so... Oh, it's faster than us. Why would it need to go for Aqua Jet? I always forget how fast Floatzel is. That thing's a monster. So, if Floatzel's likely not banded, I can calc that Slowbro damage. Yeah, let me actually do that now while my opponent takes some time to think of their move. Let's calc that Ice Punch damage. How much should Ice Punch have? I feel like it definitely didn't do between 12 and 14%. I feel like it did even less than that, so I don't think he's banded Floatzel. I feel like he's only went for Ice Punch with Floatzel. This is also why you write stuff down. I will in the next game. I will definitely be writing stuff down in the next game. But yeah, I feel like it definitely, it's only revealed Ice Punch, but it did not do between 12 and 14%. So hopefully, and that should be the Doublade, it looks like. Yeah, and he's sacking Doublade. So goodbye, Doublade. Alright, it didn't kill, but it's not like that matters. He can't go for Shadow Sneak, and I'm pretty sure that's the only priority this thing gets. If it pulls some other priority out of its repertoire, then I will be extremely stunned. But he did live. So he probably had some special defense investment. This will take it out though. Okay, so now it's how much does Floatzel do to us with its Life Orb attacks, because it should not be. Definitely should, it does way too much damage to us. With if it was banded, but it's not banded, so let's see what Life Orb does. Should not be banded. Life Orb Return still does too much damage. If he's running Return, still does too much damage. Yeah. Now I'm calcing Life Orb. Life Orb Zapdos versus Slowbro. I need to know if we can start living stuff pretty well after one Calm Mind is set up. And we still cannot. We just simply cannot. What else do I go into though? Because he has to have a move that'll take us out. I guess we'll see. We'll see what move he has. If he doubles him with Zapdos, that'd be beautiful. But he didn't switch out because he's definitely faster. I'm gonna set up a Swords Dance. And he has the Focus Blast. Oh wow. So he's mixed. Another thing that's mixed. Another Pokemon that is mixed. So what I can do is set up the Calm Mind and then just try to get damage off on this thing. Do I double in a Heliolisk now? I feel like that's what I do and I just win the game. There's a way he goes for Focus Blast again. There's no way. That play might cost us the game though. Maybe. It's just a little scary of a play. I feel like he doesn't make a pro level play like that. So I'm going back into Floatzel. If he went for Focus Blast again, just props to my opponent. Props to my opponent if he did that. Oh god. He's locked into it. He's locked into Focus Blast. Alright, well good play on my opponent's end. Very good play on my opponent's end. He is locked into Focus Blast. Yeah, he's definitely locked in the Focus Blast. How much does Sylveon do this? Dang, that was I should have considered more of the fact of him being locked in because I feel like he's locked in. And Sylveon only had enough speed to outspeed what's it called in the first place? Keldeo, and this is faster than Keldeo, so gotta stay in. Crap, that might have cost us the game though. How much do we take from... That was not a smart play on my end. There was no need to do such a ballsy play like that. That was not necessary at all, and it might have cost us. Because Zapdos still does too much even if we're at +2. And... yeah, even if we're at +2, Zapdos does too much damage to us. If I can get him to stay in on another Focus Blast, it's the only way I feel like we're in like a really comfortable position for this end game. Really smart play on my opponent's end, just staying in and going for Focus Blast again. So kudos to you for that. He might think I want to go into Heatran and that I have the Fire type Z move on Heatran. I don't. I have Gracian Z, so that sucks. That sucks now because you didn't bring Keldeo. Brought a Water type, just not the one I wanted to see because this is not a switching on to anything. So Floatzel was never going to be switching in on anything. Which kind of nullifies the effectiveness of Gracian Z. Alright, he stayed in now. Alright, I feel like we can maybe win this then. Because then we should be able to get to +3. And +3 we can beat the Zapdos. It still might do too much damage though. I feel like it actually still does too much damage. I'm going for another Calm Mind, but and he's definitely switching out this turn. But his yeah, switch out happens. A +1, how much did I do to it? Should I have just attacked? Oh, I should have just attacked. Oh no, bad play on my end. I should have just attacked. He has a 2.7 chance to 2-hit KO us. after leftovers. If he gets a full, we don't get to full, so that gives him an even better chance. Oh, I so should have just attacked though. I'll go for the side shock now though. Definitely should have just attacked. Without Slowbro, we might just lose this game as well, considering that Sylveon's at such low health and Heatran's not living anything. So I think it literally comes down to how much damage that this Zapdos does to us with its Thunderbolts, how high of rolls it gets and everything. That's what it's going to come down to. I should have actually just attacked after that first one. I guess we'll see if this is fully modest. I feel like it is fully modest with Life Orb and then enough speed to outspeed Garchomp. That's what I feel like this is. See how much this does. Does over half. Crap. Life Orb damage, is that enough for us? Can we get the high roll? Oh, and we get it. That's game. Alright, and that is going to be game, guys. So GG to Elite for walkthroughs and the Washington Lake Spirits. Still thinking about last week. But GG's to Elite for walkthroughs and Washington Lake Spirits. Honestly, congrats so much to him for how well he stuck through this game, because things weren't looking good for him at all at first. He had a weakened Doomblade due to our Rocky Helmet strats. He lost his Azelf pretty early on due to our Spec Stark Pulse and then just going into our Rocky Helmet user. And then he lost Gudra to the Dragon Claw from Garchomp. So things weren't looking good for him at all, but he really came around and made some really good plays, staying in with Drapion, staying in with the Floatzel on my Heliolisk switch in. Just good plays. He made some solid, all around some solid plays. I'm going to slack off first. No reason not to. Just going to slack off first. Make sure we're at a good amount of health. Try to avoid any crits. He has to go for Waterfall. That shouldn't do much of anything to us. We'll see if it flinches us. It does not flinch us. We'll get the slack off. And we'll see if this takes out. So let's just make sure. Whatever. Level down. And yeah, Shy Shock should take it out. So GG's. But yeah, we're going to win a 3-0. Should have been higher in my opinion. I definitely, if we do get flinched there, which is fine. But it should have been a higher differential. The Heliolisk play was so stupid on my end. And even the Garchomp plays were just so stupid. They were just bad. I didn't need to force myself to make plays that badly. But that's sometimes my Achilles heel, is when I try too hard to make plays and to speed up games. When I feel like I'm in the driver's seat, I start to try just a tad bit too hard to finish off games, to get into the best place as possible. But however, that is game. GG's to Elite for walkthroughs and his Washington Lake Spirits. Very solid team that he has. I just feel like we got the upper hand a little too convincingly in the earlier parts of the game, and then he was just playing catch up for the rest of that point. And at that point, I was able to get us in a somewhat favorable position. Should have been better. I shouldn't have lost the Garchomp, and I definitely shouldn't have lost Heliolisk over that very stupid play. But it is what it is. You learn from it, and he still was able to. It shows how good of a battler he was to be able to still get that down to a 3-0, and especially with a weakened Sylveon, so more so a 2-0, but still, it was a choice scarf Sylveon, so having it still mattered a lot. Anyways, though, thank you guys for tuning in. As always, your support is greatly appreciated. We did bounce back. We're back on the map. We bounced back. So I do not even know who we play next week. Can I look that up really quickly while I have your guys' attention? No, that's going to take too much time. I don't know who we play next week, guys. I am excited for it. Hopefully it's another quality opponent, and hopefully we can get to a positive differential at that point, considering that we're 1-1, so we're tied now. Want to get to 2-1 from that point on. So hopefully we can get that done and start to just make some ground after after a decently poor effort in week 1. I felt like I still tried very hardly and brought what I thought was a good team, but hopefully we can continue to bounce back from that, maybe even get on a win streak. Thank you guys so much for continuing to support your Salazzin Salazzles. I'm going to get the heck out of here, guys. For now, peace.